Hey everyone, Hydra Head here, and this is the Immortal Men from the New Age of Heroes. This is number 4, and I will be honest with you, I absolutely hate this series. I don't know why I'm still buying it, but they have Tyler Kirkham on art. I don't think he was on art for the last 3, but he's on art on this one, and Tyler Kirkham is a freaking amazing artist. His shit kicks ass. Jim Lee did this cover. It's fantastic because Jim Lee has mad chops. But the interior art in this book is just great. Kirkham went balls out. I just wish the writing was half as good as the art because, I'm sorry, but the writing is shit. This is nothing but just PC propaganda as far as I'm concerned. And I'll admit, I can be overly cynical, which is why I don't really watch a lot of new movies. It's because I genuinely hate 90% of modern media anymore. I just think it's trite, it's passé, they're just stealing and reboxing shit that's already available and was done better before. I hate CGI. I think it absolutely ruins movies. They destroyed animation by switching to this fucking terrible digital bullshit. The live action stuff that they do all the time, especially with Kate films, absolute garbage. Hasn't been a good superhero movie in freaking ages. I don't care if you like them. That's great. That's you. Go blow your money on fucking nothing so that you can hang out in a crowded theater with a bunch of stinky ass strangers and watch something you could see for free, but see it on a big screen. Woohoo, big deal. I'm sorry, that's just my general thoughts on modern entertainment. It's absolute garbage. It's brainwashing propaganda, and I think it's trash. And that's why I hate seeing this shit pop up in comics so bad. Like, well, first, look at this art. Kirkham, you the fucking man. But, so it starts off talking about how the Immortal Man was around at the beginning of time. They were basically cavemen, right? And there was these initial tribes. They were part of the tribe of the bear, and they all saw this light in the sky, so they ran to it to beat the other tribes. And it turned these 5 people into immortals. They were invulnerable from death, and they could gift the certain small piece of immortality to a lesser form. Basically, life eternal without invulnerability. So far, so good. This is all cool. I thought they were doing all right up here. We get this part, though, where we see... So they all disagree on the... Well, let me just read this. In time, they would learn they could each give certain humans a small piece of their immortality, a lesser form, life eternal, without invulnerability. That they would take it upon themselves to make mankind their responsibility. They understood how tenuous survival could be, but the 5 disagreed of how best to save the world. And then here we see, in Alexandria, whether it was knowledge, and one of the guys apparently built Alexandria, whether it was Gaul in conquest, and we see Horned Bitch leading Gaul in conquest, whether it was bold Goya in harmony, because everybody knows where that is, or Vatican City expression. Tyler, I know you put this little kid in there for the Vatican City thing for a reason, and that's fucking hilarious. Or Harlem for action. It is a fucking ghetto that was stolen from Jewish immigrants. Just stop making Harlem such a central theme in your damn books. All right. So anyway, more fantastic, amazing art. But now we zoom into Harlem where the action's at. And we start getting some... While this fight is going on, we start getting some backstory about Timber. First of all, Kirkham made her hot. So thank you, Kirkham, for that. That's fantastic. Let me just read this to you and see if it upsets you the way it upsets me. The Carpentier family had come to the Wisconsin frontier in the early days of the 19th century. They sought to make a name for themselves in lumber, and in the process they started the industry away from the local Menominee Nation. Kashina listened as her... Kashina is not an Indian name! Kashina listened as her grandfather plotted to enter the Carpentiers' newly won territory and set up a logging camp. It's also not an Italian name, which she's supposed to be. Some worried about the natives' plan, that they would undercut their existing timber contracts, but Carpentier laughed. What would the Indians do? Clear the forest in a single night? Kashina's mother had told her to keep her head down in front of her grandfather. He had been told the girl's father was a Sicilian worker, accounting for her dark skin. His eyes lingered on her face with a quiet, knowing fury. Her eyes rose to meet his, in defiance. She knew what he would do to her father's people, out of rage for what he felt had been done to his daughter, to his blood. Kashina would not keep her head down. This is the most forced feeling fucking plot. Oh my god. Okay, she's a Native American legend. Oh, but she's actually part Italian. Oh, but her Italian grandfather, who was rich, hates her because she was an Indian. Oh, but as a little kid, she was completely knowledgeable about that fact. And she defied him anyway because she knew her grandfather was an evil white man. Ugh. Anyway, she used her fucking power that they don't explain how she got to basically log timber for the Indians so the Indians could sell timber, which didn't happen, by the way. Indians were not loggers. And they never have been. Of course, the Immortal Man heard about her great actions and he went and got her. So that's basically the character background we get on this. From there, they basically just continue on with the story. And the rest of this is nothing but a very sped up, fast-paced build-up to the Immortal Man dying. They try and talk about how amazing he is, how epic he is, how powerful he is, what he means to the existence of the world. All while our main character is basically getting his ass kicked. He finds out some information about the cat, and we get this little lecture about protecting people that is very, very, very modern PC agenda, which I wasn't a fan of. And then he realizes that he might be able to harness other people's power. So he has Ghost Fist think of the Kung Fu, and then he touches Ghost Fist, and he steals his knowledge of Kung Fu, and now he knows Kung Fu. Keanu, eat your freaking heart out. I love topical writing because that doesn't date your material. Also, I really don't like this fucking trope of I now have all the knowledge about this topic, so I am obviously an expert. If you read, let's say you have an eidetic memory, which means you memorize everything you see and or read, and you read a book on all the essentials of Kung Fu, that doesn't mean you are now an expert on Kung Fu. That's not how that works. Muscle memory does nothing to do with actual brain memory. Muscle memory is doing something repetitively until your body does it naturally. That's what being a master of something is. I mean, Kung Fu literally means to master. That's what Kung Fu is. Gong Fu is the actual martial art. Kung Fu just means to master. So you didn't master anything. You just memorized something. You don't know Kung Fu. Fucking moron. And then here we get the big build-up. Basically, while he's fighting, we get this romanticized narrative about how majestic he is and how calm and expert, and all these eternities he's mastered every type of fighting style and turned it into some sort of beautiful art. But all he's doing as far as the art showing is just brutally naming shit, and he doesn't look relaxed or calm. He looks absolutely berserk. And then back at the base where Reloader was captured by the Hunt. There's some fucking names. They basically watch as the Immortal Man battles. We find out that he's exceptionally pissed about a particular woman that he helped, whose head was filled with brilliant inventions that have never been invented. And his sister, the chick with the horns, basically murdered her and used her blood to forge a sword. And what this sword allows her to do is kill the Immortal Man. And yeah, I know I didn't give you any spoiler warnings, but honestly it's because this book sucks, and I don't consider anything in this to be a spoiler. This is all very, very predictable, very, very stupid, and I kind of regret spending money on this entire series. Anyway, sorry about the vehement review of something I consider to be absolute trash, but thanks for watching, guys. Hail Hydra, baby.